Coming up on Linux GameCast Weekly, all your devel days all belong to Valve. NVIDIA brings the bling, Octodad hugs the penguin, and no more Greenlight? Then we throw the chairs at Broken Age. All this, plus your hate mail. Let's go. And welcome back to another Linux GameCast Weekly, the show that covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, public service announcements, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. I'm Vin Stone at LGC Actual in our Toronto office. Master Mayor Sveng. How's it going, sir?
I'm too busy smoking crack to run this administration.
Crack is whack, and all the way
I know.
in his angry land of Portugal. Mr. Mateus.
We do enjoy our pet peeves.
Storm's over there right now, though, whipping her dick out.
It's mild right now.
Just like the rest of the year, God is pissing on Portugal.
Brilliant. So, this week, we're going to talk all the news about Steam Dev Days. NVIDIA is going to bring the bling to your Linux box, and we're going to throw some chairs at something from Double Fine, because we have copies, and you might not. But before we get started, what's been going on in the world of Portugal?
Not much, really. I've been in talks with my aunt about maybe moving in with her. It's about halfway across the country.
Is she a
To
spinster?
learn Japanese. One of her friends is Japanese, and he teaches Japanese. And he said he'd do it for free, so maybe. We're in talks right now. Nothing certain. Maybe.
Just watch out for the oral examination.
Oh, Wang Chung denied. So what's up, Froman?
Oh, absolutely nothing. I stuck my face in an electrical socket, and lo and behold, I turned into Cousin It.
Brilliant. Really should have did that for the intro, but we weren't being terribly clever.
We really were.
Kind of what's going on over here. Nothing new and exciting. Still not really liking Shield. Did start, I broke down as this almost human thing, Bones and the Robot. And I remember seeing the trailer, and somebody mentions, like, oh, it's episode 8 of the first series, go watch it. And I watched 1, I watched the other 7. It can't be like RoboCop, sort of.
Well, there was that IO9 article saying that it basically takes place in the 80s vision of the future.
Something like that. Good background noise. It's still Cop of the Week shit, so we'll see where it goes. And, like J-Man says, I like Bones. I like that actor.
Yeah. The Carl Urban. I like him. He was good in Dread. He was good in Star Trek. I like his stuff.
So, where can they find us, J-Man, with a whoring?
You can find us at linuxgamecast.com/podcast. We got RSS feeds and crap like that you should click on. You can also check us out on Chatroom Static, our forums. Sign in with any account. We also have a Facebook and a YouTube page. You should definitely check out our YouTube page before Content ID blows it to the 4 winds. But guess what? If you like this train wreck, you can toss money at us, too. I guess we don't have any Amazon affiliate links anymore.
Where are
but we do have 2 levels you can donate at.
Hang on. Hang on. Let me actually get on the page since you're going on your own moon script.
What are you talking about?
Go ahead.
It's what's written on the damn page. Mr. I don't prepare, I don't stage it all. Yeah, so what's that? We got 2 fuck-mothering levels for donations. We got producers. If you give us $3.50 or $10 a month, you get a producer credit, and you get a plug on our little wall of shame over there. And, show note access. Watch the sausage before it gets made. Good stuff. But if you're feeling particularly ballsy, you can become one of the members of the glorious Linux Gaming PC Master Race. And that's 10... What? Did you change that up?
Yes.
Oh.
Mr. I don't read before the show.
It looked the same until I actually read it. God damn it. $10 will get you a month of show note access and shameless plugs, and that's for a one-time donation. So producers are recurring. Master Race is just a one-time donation. And if you don't have any money, you can tell your friends, tell account, shout it from the rooftops. Go to linuxgamecast.com/podcast and check that shit out. But we had a contest.
Yes, ma'am, we did.
And we had a really hard time sorting through the hundreds and hundreds of entry to determine our winner of last week's contest.
Thousands of adoring fans wrote in, and if you remember, Mr. Mango kind of rolled in here, and he said, here's the dice. I got some Wet Stinky Metro Last Light key, and, I'm also going to throw in a copy of Humble Bundle X. All you had to do was come up with the funniest New Year's resolution for 2014 involving amputee midgets, and you must submit a YouTube video. Now, we said very clearly last week, J-Man, I think you'll back me up, P-Man also, that, well, if we get one, we'll be fucking floored.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's this required effort. And if you did submit, chances are you win by default. And guess who did?
Monster Cameron, who didn't actually say anything about amputee midgets, but he actually did submit a video, so
well,
I
let's
guess
take
that
a
sort
listen
of
to
qualifies
that.
him.
Come on, YouTube. Take 20 minutes to load. It'll make great television.
And then take our video down because it's not our intellectual property.
Guys, this is Monster Cameron here, and my New Year's resolution is to stop making fake YouTube accounts and inflating your views on your podcast.
Yes,
Because tits.
because tits.
Well, again,
Well, Monster Cameron, we will give you your copy of Metro Last Light and Humble Bundle X. At some point.
Now, this thing we like to do every week, we call it a public service announcement, and I always like to say, gather around, chillins. Uncle Vin's got a story for you. And
Our favorite crackers.
all my favorite crackers. But this is great. This is from, let's say, you ended up with a PS4 for Xmas, and you don't know what to do with that fancy controller because you don't really care about a 2-year-old computer, and you want to use it on your Linux box, preferably your SteamOS system. This is a driver for the Bluetooth DualShock 4 Bluetooth, all that fun business, and apparently it works out of the box. Just reading around with this, it's called DS4DRV, set in the LED color.
This comes up because, oddly enough, USB support does not exist for the PS4 controller.
Right.
Yeah.
And it can also emulate the Xclone 360. A reminder about your low battery light with a flashing LED, and you can use the trackpad as a mouse. So
Cool
That
beans.
is interesting. Yeah.
that's kind of neat. That might definitely help navigate some of the steaminess on that business.
Mm-hmm.
But, isn't that thing we do every week, J-Man?
Yeah, it's starting to smell like
Kinda
that time
waft
of the
again.
week.
That storms.
On the breeze, it's our Steam
Linux!
Update of the week.
It's Steam Dev Days.
Oh my God.
Yay! Or at least it
Steam.
was.
P-Man, give
It
us a quick
were-
recap of this one.
It were the Steam Dev Days. Valve invited every Linux developer and every prospect Linux developer to attend their convention of sorts, where people like Iculus actually gave talks, and we'll have links to everything about this in the notes, so you can check it out for yourself. But yeah, they covered a lot of things, from microtransactions to that Valve VR thing that's not going to happen, but we'll get to that later. The OpenGL debugging that Valve is calling Vogel. I think that's the name they gave it. Yeah. And they covered a couple other things, which let's get into that, I suppose.
Well,
First up,
that is kind of, I was terrified when they said they're going to change the Steam controllers, and I was like, no, don't take away the booby tassels.
Not the
Yeah.
nipple tassels.
No, not from our areola controller, but nay, fear not, young men. Steam controller drops touchscreen, adds physical buttons, update new controller All right, so we still get our Gabe nipple functionality now with 8 fucking buttons.
Yeah.
What's the yay, nay, over under on this, J-Man?
Well, I recall that they kind of ditched the touchscreen for the earlier Areola controller models, and they had just 4 buttons up at the top. But I can see them adding that just for like standard compatibility for your run-of-the-mill games. I don't know. I still want to get one in my hands before I pass any real judgment.
Got any thoughts?
I was really getting accustomed to the idea of having a touchscreen in the middle of the controller, and I kind of like that. But now it's gone because apparently it was too distracting.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, what?
No, I'm looking at that. I'm like, well, what do you put there? It's awfully empty.
Yeah.
So, and then I'm thinking about so you got your thumbs on Gabe's nipples. How are you going to use those? Are you going to use your index fingers to rub the nipples? And
It'll be some odd archaic ritual involving getting Gabe's nipples really, really, really hard.
Super hot.
So you can bend them all the way there.
Drop it like it's hot.
Yeah, speaking of dropping like it's hot, drop it like it's green. Apparently, Gabe wants to get Greenlight wants to give it the boot.
That's bull.
El Okusho from Steve Dev Days posted this on his Twitter account. He said, "Our goal is to make Greenlight go away, not because it's not useful, but because we're evolving." So there's some wild speculation about what will replace Greenlight. I've heard talk of like a 2-tier store, one like indie store and one main store. I don't know. Yeah. Greenlight was an interesting experiment. I'm not sure how successful it was. I really didn't pay attention to the statistics for that, but I mean, Valve has made good decisions in the past, so gotta assume they know what they're doing.
I don't know. When I first saw this, I was genuinely thinking like, they must be just trying to clear out, and they must have been trying to clear out the Greenlight inventory for a while, because we've seen some shit. I'm sure Pedro's about to cough. That should never have been greenlit. But see, I knew that cold was coming back. I was like, how did this ever show up? And I was never happy with some indie developers genuinely had to fight the popularity contest just to even think about being greenlit, while others partnered with, Adult Swim or whatever, and they're like, boom, you're in. Don't worry about it. So, kind of glad. P-Man, thoughts, hints?
Yeah, the Steam Greenlight model wasn't ideal. It wasn't really, like you said, for indie developers that were actually trying to make good games, and they're pitting them against the people with pirated copies of Unity, developing games and trying to just make a quick buck out of Steam. It's not, doesn't make any sense, at least not to me. And we've seen the kind of dross that has come out of Steam Greenlight. Legends of Etheria is just an example. There are plenty more, like Realms of Arcania.
Doom.
A list of 700 other Linux RPGs that suck.
Yeah.
So, this next segment, I just like to call it Bzzzt, because originally in the show notes, Pedro, like I initially did, bit into, there was articles floating around, and it was like, oh, wow, Steam has its own super ultra EP and turbo VR system that, basically
See, I'm just worried
dry humps the Oculus Rift support, but it turns out, no.
Yeah, they're not going to release it. They have it. They did it. They pretty much finished it, but they're not going to release it.
That's because they gave the technology to Jerry Ellsworth, and she's developed her own company around it.
Indeed.
Yep.
You know what? I think Valve was more concerned that Professor Moriarty would gain sentience, take over your computer, and then try to kill you through the VR headset.
I don't know, but one thing that was fun, even through CES and all this business, is listening to everyone talking about the new 1080p Oculus Rift, and they say it's amazeballs.
Amazeballs!
Yeah, it's amazeballs,
The
but
goggles, they do nothing.
but it still doesn't. It still does make you motion sick. The motion sickness is still very much there, and they still haven't fixed that, which is why everyone was creaming their pants left and right with Valve's VR system, because it used the room positioning system instead of positioning on the goggles themselves, which means it wouldn't cause as much motion sickness. And that's kind of good if you're trying to market as a VR headset.
As soon as they fix the small flaw of people don't like wearing shit on their fucking ads, everything's going to be golden. I guarantee it.
No, the new one is actually a needle that goes into the base of your skull.
Hot.
Indeed.
I got a boner
So
already.
what mixed with the working, J-Man?
Yeah, so Broken Age is available for pre-order. It's available January 28th. It's part 1 of 2. This was the Double Fine point-and-click adventure Kickstarter thing that made $3.3 million and another $2 million from PayPal donations. And all that money went to get Frodo Baggins to play a whiny little child. So not really act, just kind of be himself.
But it's available, 10% off. You can get it for $22.49, and it will unlock January 28th, 2014. So that's 1 week.
Yeah,
2
and
days.
you do get part 2 once that gets released as well.
Right.
So at least they're not making you pay twice, like
Yeah.
But it has some impressive key features: pointing, clicking. That's pretty advanced.
That's pretty neat. And another thing that kind of flew down this train.
On the Humble X?
On the
Or was it the
Humble,
previous one?
Is it Reyes?
Yeah.
Rehus?
Reus, like Actus
Like
Reus,
Reus style.
legal term.
Yes.
So you have the point of this game is it's kind of like a black and whitey Earth creating ecosystem management game.
So what do
You
you
have
like,
these
good
4
rock, bad
Titans.
rock?
Well, yeah, you have the 4 Titans that sort of wander around really, really, really fucking slowly as you wait for them to accomplish their single task. Hours and hours pass as you wonder, what the hell am I doing with my life? And then they arrive and you get a tree. And that's all well and good.
All right.
But this was part of the Humble Bundle. You can pick it up for $9. It's now on Steam. It's listed only as on Windows in the Steam store, but you can download it. And
Yeah,
run it
the
on
Linux version is
without
still a
any
beta,
issue.
but it works.
I tried it for all of 2 minutes, and I was like, I don't understand. I threw things and yelled at a cloud and just noped out. And I thought, I'll get around to this when I'm in the home.
But
So,
speaking of people in the home, I hear a certain survival horror game has gotten a lot easier to install.
well, people are strange when you're estranged. Act 1, that is.
I know.
Faces do come out of the rain.
We talked about this a couple of months, maybe 2 months ago.
Yeah, something like that.
Estranged, it tells the story of a lone fish. Basically, this anything relating to Half-Life. A strange dude dropped off somewhere, shit goes south, and you gotta sort out puzzle land, and that's effectively what this is. This comes in at free, but you might say, but I've been playing this for millions of years. And I was like, yes, but what they've done is made it so simple, an Arch user can install it. That's right, Arch! You can just click the install button and it installs. You don't have to worry about downloading the SDK and all that fun bit.
And copying something to a directory and then
manually.
restarting Steam. And
Yes.
it's way too complicated. But
We're
good for
saving
good for
those
them.
fragile little
Pointless
minds.
install.
Maybe something you want to try out. It's not that fantastic. I gave it a solid 30-minute playthrough. I think you gave it a shot, didn't you?
Yeah, I played it. It's not bad. It's Source Engine, but it's quite a bit choppy. at
Yeah.
places.
Yeah.
Turning
the
around
frame
really
rate is
quickly
still
didn't work
very
too well.
shaky.
But
So
I think
that's
that
definitely
wraps it
a
up
thing.
for
Strange, pick it up
our-
if you do that.
yeah. It's cheap as free, so no point in not buying it
Well,
because you don't have to pay for it.
let's put that horse back on the Gaben train and
Yeah. Coming up
Choo-choo,
next,
motherfucker.
regular news.
And we're back with the news. And starting us off this week, let's say, Jordan, you have an NVIDIA card, right? Tell us about
No.
this.
no, because you're not looking at the show notes. are you?
I only use
No,
IRIX
no, I
cards.
really am not. Oh, it's
Or-
Ven. I'm sorry.
SGI.
All right. Let's take a look at this new Linux display driver for the awesome cards that are not AMD. 331.38 supports pretty much everything made in the last forever.
4 years.
700, 500, 400, 300, 200.
Anything using Fermi
Quadros,
architecture better. Yeah,
things I've never
basically,
heard of.
yeah, any Fermi or better chip, pretty much.
Pretty much. And, it's got a bunch of little fun fixes and all that. But the one I saw that really blew my brain organ is now you can adjust the color LEDs on your EP and extender NVIDIA cards and SLI and change the colors. I mean, to let all the ladies know that you got no extra monies.
Did you do that?
Yeah, well, I'm kind of out of the clear case window. Pedro, would you do something like that?
Not exactly. I don't particularly care.
Says the guy with the Diablo Turbo mouse.
I like the mouse for what it is. I don't care about the blinky shit it does.
Right.
Yes. Display the blinky shit right in front of the camera. That's a great way to back up your point.
Not.
I certainly believe you.
One little
Open
thing
Morrowind
is,
is fucking awesome.
Just on a 1204 base system LTS, the Exel edges. Yeah, I waited for them. I was like, all right, screw you guys. We're doing it live. And I just installed it manually because they never got their shit together on that business. But check it out. You might get a performance bump. Didn't really notice anything on the 770, but let's be real. You don't really notice much of anything other than just awesome shit flying in your face with a 770.
It's like the screen starts puking rainbows, and then you start puking rainbows. But Open Morrowind is pretty awesome.
Oh,
That's been a really cool project that we've been following forever. Because these insane bastards are trying to completely reverse engineer.
Are you really going to do Pedro's part now?
No, I'm just leading into it.
Oh, okay.
So Pedro, tell them about it.
Yep, it's Open Morrowind. Those guys are hell-bent on recreating Morrowind on the Ogre 3D engine, and from the looks of it, and this is pure conjecture, by the end of the year, they should have a moderately playable, air quotes, version. But yeah, in the meantime, we got version 0.28, and there are still a couple of known issues with this particular version, namely extreme shaking during cell transitions, but that also happens with a regular Morrowind, so that's nothing new. And if you're on OS X, and if you are, why the hell are you watching this? You might not get music playback, but those are just the known issues. Want to know what they introduced? This is by far their biggest changelog ever. We got combat AI, spellcasting, ranged, self, and touch. We get magical effects. We get vampires. Now you can turn into a vampire. You still can't get bitten because combat's still a bit.
But you can sparkle. You can sparkle like there's no zero.
It's not sparkling per se. You just have to use one of the altars in the debug cell, so it turns you automatically into a vampire.
You can become
the
a time
disease
vampire?
system is also not implemented yet. That's coming later on. They added some vortex animations now, so creatures like the
Vortex.
floating things, the netch.
Yeah.
They used to have those animations, those breathing animations. Those are now implemented. They don't look just like staticky shit floating about. And they fixed like they said, they fixed the metric fuck ton of bugs.
Well, that's brilliant. J-Man, have you had a chance to even touch this lately?
I don't actually own a copy of Morrowind. I need to get around to buying one.
Smart
I
man.
have two. A physical one and on Steam.
And that's where all his money went. But you know what? Us Linux gamers are generally hyper-virile, manly men. And occasionally you pump out kids. And occasionally you get replaced by an octopus. This is Octodad, Dadliest Catch. And this is getting launched sometime. January 30th, 2014. That's the date. But this is essentially you're a octopus who is the head of a household, and you have to disguise the fact that you are in fact a mollusk from your children, and it looks to be some sort of open world QWOP type game,
Quap 3D, bitches.
which
Yeah,
could be
it's QWOP
incredibly
3D, basically.
entertaining. But we might take a look at this one. when it
That
comes out
just
in a
looks
couple weeks.
so rage quit inducing.
I know. I kind of want to play it just because it's like 3D QWOP.
Well, you know, on one hand, I can imagine like saying, "Okay, I'm going to finish this seriously," and snapping a controller and throwing it against the wall. But then again, I can imagine, you know, being blitzed out of my fuck mothering mind and be like, "It's kind of fun."
Yeah,
I can relate to
it's certainly
this.
one of those games that could go either way. I'll definitely have to check that one.
But it is nice to see that they plan to do the Mac, PC, and Linux version all at the same time. None of this.
Yeah, no, good for them. Do you think
Yep,
this is a Unity
and-
game?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's the screenshot.
Yeah.
Kind of makes it look like
It's
it.
Yeah.
been greenlit for a while. They just haven't released not even the Linux betas. Nothing. It's just been I know they've sent the Windows version to a couple of YouTubers like PewDiePie and Cinnamon Toast Ken. Those two I remember that I saw a couple of Let's Plays of them. But yeah, the Linux version will be out on the 30th. So keep that in mind.
Indeed.
And
NASA.
Need another 7 astronauts.
Yep.
just 7?
Well, I mean, what was this one time? You know, I was at a little hippie thing. You stick the marshmallow thing, you know, in the fire, and you wave it around. You're like, "Hey, everyone, guess what I am?" And they look at you blankly. They're like, "I'm the Space Shuttle Columbia."
Darn. So
No,
our
this
favorite
is-
ex-NASA employee has a new release of Retro Booster 091. Tell him about it, Pedro.
Yeah. My brain isn't working tonight. Retro Booster version 091 is now available as a demo. It's not been officially released yet. Terry says here on the post that he's looking to make it available on his website, the Humble Store, Indie Game Stand, and the Sura. What about Steam, Terry?
What
You know.
about GOG? I heard GOG.
You
is
do have a
great place.
Greenlight thing on your website right there, so yeah, you should really mention that.
Abstimmen für Retroboost.
Yeah, it introduced a couple of new things, like an Alt F4 key command to quit the game. Welcome back to
Bail out!
1993.
Bail out!
Welcome back to 1993, people. But yeah, the game also now saves automatically each time you beat a level, which, by the way, should have been introduced much earlier. Just saying. And you can only get a high score when beating the final level. So no more individual levels high scores. So no more cheating. Good
Well,
times.
what about that? Does this have multiplayer?
It's supposed to have. I honestly never tried the multiplayer, but I think there's an option for that. Yeah.
Maybe that's something we
Well,
should try.
you know, we can always bug Magumbo about it because he is Magumbo in Chat Realm.
Sounds like a plan. But that's going to do it for our regular news. Coming up next, guess what? We asked the guys at Double Fine for some early access to a certain game, and they said, fuck it, why not? Leave us alone, never contact us again. Yeah. So, I think we're going to take a look at that business in the news.
Broken chairs for broken
News
age.
reviews.
Or whatever the hell else we come up with.
Fair enough.
And we're whipping broken chairs at Broken Age, the Double Fine adventure point and click game that made over $35 million on Kickstarter. Yeah, or not
3.5, not
$3.5 million. Shut up. Shut up, Pedro. I can exaggerate because we're not what are we, pharaonics? Yes.
Apparently.
Yes, we are. It's $35 million. See this article on our website that proves it. All right, you can pick this up from Steam. You can get it right from Double Fine. It's the Moai engine, and you can buy it for $24.99 or £22.99 or a bunch of Dogecoin. Wow, such bargain. Very deal. But what is it? It is a classic point-and-click adventure game in the style of Manic Mansion, Grim Fandango, so on and so forth. And self-described as Broken Age is a timeless coming-of-age story of barfing trees and talking spoons. Bella Tartine and Shea Volta are two teenagers in strangely similar situations, but radically different worlds. The player can freely switch between their stories, helping them take control of their own lives. You can tell the irony there, and dealing with unexpected adventures that follow. Point and click them towards their independence as you control their every action and thoughts.
Yep.
But as if you're completely new to the show, we have our whack-ass chair review system. Chair splitation! 1 chair means that it's shit, 2 chairs means that it's meh, 3 chairs means that it's pretty good, and 4 chairs means shut up, take my money. We also have our categories of doom. We rate everything with that metric. We got mixed with the working. Does it work? Does it work well? How well does it perform under Linux? Shiny and sounds. How tickled and treated are your ear and eye pussies? Controls is self-explanatory. And our final subjective category is fun. So then, did Broken Age make with the working?
Broken Age, made with the working. Get ready to take that shot, ladies and gentlemen, on our vanilla Ubuntu 1204 LTS 32-bit NVIDIA 770 powered test boxing. Ran with pretty much no issues I could come up with. One thing I did notice is something I've always said, with past ports like The Cave and what was Jack Black?
Stacking Brutal Legends.
Brutal Legend. Was a little bit of the humble, not humble, but
humble
Double
herky
Fine.
jerk.
Yeah, that herky jerky bits didn't see any of that in this, but then again, there's not a whole lot of action. Gonna give it what it is, and that's 4 chairs. J-Man, how did it work in Fedora Land?
Perfectly on our AMD powered, NVIDIA powered desktop down here, and also on the A10 5800K powered Steam box outside over there. No issues whatsoever, both using the latest proprietary drivers. So I'm gonna give that 4 chairs on mix with the working.
Yeah. And on Corora 19 and Corora 20, because I upgraded in the middle of the week.
Didn't test
but yeah, on my calculator with an Intel processor and a 5650 HD AMD chip, it works with the open source drivers out of the box, no problems whatsoever. 4 chairs.
Well, that's 4 chairs for mix with the working. So far, so good. Shiny and sounds. Now, this game has an interesting art style. It's not the most graphically demanding thing, but Ven, are you going to get into that? Oh me, oh my.
Oh my.
Oh
my. Yes, one ring to rule them all. Lord of the Rings kept coming to mind for something. Now, actually, that voice would have been entertaining to listen to.
Andy Serkis voicing the entire game.
Or just the narrator might have been nice. Shiny is what it is. I mean, it's a point and click. Now, it's a different type of shiny than I remember. I wasn't really big on the Double Fine stuff way back in the day. I was more in the Sierra camp with the King's Quest and all that business. With the pixely goodness that
Roberta, what's her name?
Blew your brain organ back, in like 94, 95 with our EGA graphics. But this does, as advertised. Looks fine. No issues with that. The sounds. Brilliant voice acting. We have Jack Black. J-Man's going to name off some other people, but the Hobbit sees Elijah Wood.
The hobbits, the Isengard, to Isengard.
The Isengard.
We understand
what did you say?
A bit of chunk of that money went to. He did a good job, but then again, I was like, shut up, Frodo. Shut up. All right, Frodo. Skip. Spaceball. So just for that little thing, I mean, nothing against the dude. I mean, he did a good job, but detachment, I was like, go find the fucking ring. So, 3 chairs for that reason. Still good. Liked it. Didn't want to shoot my brain organ out because of bad voice acting. Boom.
Boom. Well, I mean, the game looked, like Vin said, it's a point-and-click adventure game, so you're not expecting balls to the walls graphics, but the art style is certainly interesting. Kind of falls apart once they go and have close-ups of characters talking. You can kind of see the holes in it, but nothing too detracting from the overall experience. There are a bunch of actors from Drawn Together in this series, in this game. So, like, Foxy Brown is the mom. Princess Clara is one of your rivals. There's a scene where they use the Foxy Brown voice and the Princess Clara voice, and I'm like, when is Spanky Ham gonna come in and just start pissing on shit? But yeah, there's some established voice talent in here. Cree Summer, Tara Strong, those are the two I mentioned before, and a couple others I haven't really picked up yet. Jack Black's in it. It's a pretty good stable of voice actors, all things considered, and considering we don't really get much good voice acting on Linux, it's definitely a plus. So
pretty good.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
So that means it gets 3 chairs. Means pretty good. 3 chairs. They're there.
Yeah.
Pedro.
You know, I'm going to reiterate the fact that we finally have actual actors doing the voice acting.
So Pedro, do we have actual voice actors in this game?
Actual voice actors? I don't know. I
Actually?
honestly didn't bother looking at their resumes to see if they had done voice acting before. I'm pretty sure they have, but yeah.
All right, well, riddle me this. What if you're blind and you watch movies? Doesn't that count as them being voice actors?
Yeah, that too.
Loophole.
What
Loophole
if it's a
right
silent
there.
movie?
But yeah, actual actors doing the voice acting, and it sounds amazing. And for once, they actually the characters sound like they're into what they're doing. Like, you know, unlike almost every other indie game under Linux right now. And the graphics, I like them. The hand-painted art style fits because the main characters are being treated as children and they have to sort of grow up. It's got the whole coming of age vibe to it. So it starts hand painted, like all flowery, all pretty, all colorful, and then as soon as you get to the midpoint in both characters' story, the art style gets a bit darker, just enough for you to notice. And I, for one, think that's amazing. They managed to pull that off with graphics that simple. 4 chairs for me.
Well, that's 3 chairs for Shiny and Sounds. Again, very good start. And typical of what we've seen out of Double Fine in the past. So then, Control. I know we have lots to say about this one.
Wow. Have you ever heard of this moon device? I call it a wireless gerbil. They do come in tailed versions, mind you. Yes. The whole run, fear, it'll make you worship Satan. That's your controls. This is point and click. No more, no less, as advertised. Spacebar. Huge fan of Spacebar because that's how you skip the repetitive ass cutscenes when you're asking question after question after question after question. But I'll get to that in the fun section. They work for what they are. I actually would not have minded like an areola controller for this. That would have been kind of fun, for a sit-back experience because, being hunched over.
It would have worked better if they had the touchpad in the middle, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but with the trackpads, you can probably sign it to use one of them as the mouse, though.
Pretty decent with the controls. Didn't have any major issues with them. Had little hang-ups every now and then with the mouse or when I was trying to combine items, but nothing at all major. Couldn't give it a perfect score just because of those tiny little bits. So no 4 chairs, boom, 3 chairs.
Except yeah. oh, editing. We'll probably make that snafu go away. Ben likes to keep in everyone else's mistakes except for his. But I mean, really, for controls,
like that silence, I'm gonna have to cut that out.
Yeah, you point, you click, you point, you click. I mean, it works as advertised. It's a point-and-click adventure game. It's nothing revolutionary, but it gets the job done. So 3 chairs. I'm able to point and I'm able to click. That fulfills the majority of the criteria for controlling.
So, Pete, man,
anything.
how did it work with your force feedback steering wheel?
I honestly didn't try it because I didn't see an option.
It was
in the
out of
options
control!
menu.
Oh, write a
To
nerd
use the
rage review
controllers.
about how it didn't work with your Thrustmaster.
But yeah, it's like you
He has
guys
the-
said.
he has the
it's
entire
click
MechWarrior
everything all the time. The game.
Mhm.
You click to open your inventory. You click an item on your inventory. You drag it out and click something else. You click the characters. You click the environments. You click everything. I'm just going to duck hit
So
one
what do you
chair.
do again?
I will duck hit one chair because, like most adventure games, it's only challenging until you figure out what was the mindset of the people writing the puzzles while you're playing. As soon as you figure it out, all challenge goes to naught. 3 chairs.
Oh, that's 3 chairs for controls. Again, pretty good. Now, our final subjective category, fun. Then, did it tickle you pink?
It tickled me somewhere. I'll read directly off my shout outs. You know, how people tell you to just avoid revisiting childhood nostalgia. Things like the A-Team, Airwolf, He-Man, Debbie's Does Dallas. They say that for a reason, and that reason is it is not what you remember, 12, 13-year-old.
Okay, I have to interrupt you. A-Team holds up.
Yeah. All right. I pity the fool that's going to argue with my review of the fun section. So, you have that. I was thinking, 12, 13-year-old Vin was like, these point-and-click story-driven things were amazing. And they were. But, fast forward to 2014, I got to the point where I was like, all right. And it became very clear at this one spot where I was like, I don't want to ask that question. I don't care. And I don't want to nope out of the dialogue, but that question, then I reverted back to the previous, and the only question, it was like, nope, you're asking that question. You can't even get out of the dialogue anymore. Ha ha! I was like, all right. This is like being spoon-fed the story. And I was like, adult Vin doesn't like this as much as baby Vin did. So for fun, and considering the price, now there's something we should mention. This is the first part. We will get the second part gratis, free, Zed, goose eggs on that. But for the fun, I'm not going to give it a don't try. I'm going to give it a meh. Just keep that in mind, what I said previously. J-Man?
So if you want to think about what baby Ven actually looks like, just picture regular Ven in a diaper with a pacifier
And a pipe.
and a pipe, and then you'll basically see every Wednesday night of Ven's life ever. But on to the topic at hand. Like, the story is interesting enough.
Well, I did like, I just want to come back in with that. I like how you can switch back and forwards.
Yeah, no, that is really nice. That if you get sick of the characters in one story, you can switch to the other one for a little while. Sweetie. Like that fucking word has been ruined for me unless Alex Kingston says it. Otherwise, it just drives me to like a white hot blind.
Pull me out of that, you'd be the king of England.
Yes, we all know about you and Miss Song.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, the writing is pretty sharp. I found myself chuckling quite a bit during the playthrough. The story itself takes a while to pick up, just because the intro is kind of slow and the characters are infuriating. But those characters go away, and you get new characters.
I believe you
more...
spent more time playing the Dame, eh?
Yeah, the fucking spaceship mom thing reminds me too much of my own mother, so I kind of had to stay away from that for fear of my own sanity. So I was mostly playing the girls, and the writing on her side is definitely a lot better than the writing on Elijah Wood. And I mean, give him some credit. He's making do with what he has, but he's not the greatest actor on the planet. He has one tone, and that's whiny. I can't carry the ring, Sam. I don't want to eat more ice cream, Momship. It's the same thing. But you know what? It's entertaining. I will give it 3 chairs.
3 chairs and ice cream Momship is a band name. P-Man.
Yeah, pretty good band name right there. But yeah, I actually finished the story for Shay. That's Shay, right? You
Yeah.
keep mixing it up between Shay and Shane, but yeah, it's Shay. I finished his
Poor Nori.
story-ish for the first act. And like I said, the art style, like I said earlier, the art style fits like the descent from childhood innocence into the realization that the world is actually a very dark place.
Forced analogy
They-
section.
So you mean semen?
That's C-Man.
Yes.
Man!
But yeah, I liked it.
And his sidekick Swallow.
I didn't like getting to a certain point and it kind of ending right there and say, it'll be available, the rest of the story will be available in Act 2. And then I switched over to Vela and I started playing and I'm like, I don't want to go through all this again. So, I don't know. $3.5 million should do a lot better than this, at least in the fun department. 2 chairs.
Well, that's 2 chairs for the fun department. And if we average that all up, we get a 3-chair game for Double Fine's Broken Age Act 1.
Check it out.
Yeah, definitely check
Yep.
it out. It had some love cooked into it.
Lots of love cooked into it. Like I said, the only thing, I really wanted in our final thoughts, what we're about to do right now, is, switching back and forward kind of breaks some of the monotony. But, just for me, I kind of feel that this particular genre of game died for a reason. And
Yeah.
that's kind of my final thoughts on it. I enjoyed the game, and again, thanks Double Fine. We keep, Pedro sent a note, and you're like, "Oh, here's some keys," and I was like, "What the? Oh, right, we're a thing." Keep forgetting that, especially like the last time we did a Double Fine review, and Double Fine on G Plus was like, "I hope you liked it." I was like, "Oh, wait, don't watch us. No, bad."
No.
So, final thoughts, J-Man.
It's pretty fun. I still have to finish the story on both ends because I keep switching back and forth. But I enjoy the voice acting. I enjoy the story. I enjoy the writing. I would definitely say check this out. It's a bit pricey. I'd maybe wait till it goes on sale, or if you've already
the full thing
kickstarted
is released, maybe.
Yeah, maybe when the
Yeah,
full
when
thing
the-
is released. Yeah, but if you've already kickstarted it, which a lot of people did because it was one of the biggest
Mhm.
Kickstarters, you will be pleasantly, well, not surprised, but you will be pleased by the outcome of the fruits of your
Yeah.
labors, really. So that about wraps it up.
Hey, man, final thoughts.
No.
Wait a second.
Oh, he doesn't count.
I only have
He thinks he's
one-
people, so let him talk.
I only have one gripe with this particular game, which is the episodic fad that Telltale Games started with The Walking Dead. I mean, it worked for Telltale because Telltale are telling kind of a big story.
Now, to be fair, I
And-
don't think they're planning to do episodic. They were just like, fuck it, we don't have it all done, but here's something.
Yeah.
Unlike, I don't know,
and-
Carmageddon.
You mean concept art
But that
simulator
brings it
2013?
into the
Basically.
early access
2012
realm of
action.
things, and early access right now is bad. It's really bad because everyone and their cousin has a game on the Steam store in early access, and they promise you shit that the version you're currently paying for does not have. And
But this is double
you're
fine.
paying
They always deliver.
$25 or 23 euros for what will be a 10 to 20 hour long game, and you only get to play like 4 of them. That's my one gripe with it.
Yeah, I could see that gripe, but it's one thing. I would, I don't like early access as a business model, but Double Fine, so good with Linux support. If they say, "Oh, it's coming out," boom, there's money.
Yeah,
I
Double
don't even
Fine
think
has
about it.
been,
I just walk away knowing that it's going to show up.
I mean, like between Double Fine and Frictional, those two have been
Yep.
like
Yeah.
some
Those
of the
two
best
have
things for
been
Linux
awesome.
gaming. Period. So I guess
Yep.
that wraps it up for our review of Broken Age. Coming up next, Hate Mail live on air for your face organ. in your butt.
Brilliant.
And it's time for your segment of our show. It's the hate mail. And remember, you can always reach us at linuxgamecast.com. Just push the contact button, fill out the form. Just remember one thing.
Wait a minute.
If you're trying to
we scream at
Wait.
them, but we're going to let them scream back at us. That's crazy.
consistently, I know, right? It's like we're masochists or something. But remember, if you're trying to promote,
hurt me bad.
if you're trying to promote your Indiegogo, Kickstarter, Steam Greenlight, anything campaign, make sure to include a playable prototype of your game. Because if you don't, balls to you. So, what do we got first up this week? I hear Julian sent us a note.
Julian screams in our direction. Questions about Papa and Yo-Yo, Linux technical issues. He writes, "Hi guys, thanks for reviewing Papa and Yo. I was the lead programmer on the game, and I did the Linux port. Good on you, sir. I was happy to hear things generally worked okay for you. I'm interested to hear some details. I'm going to summarize some technical issues. He really wants to know what were our issues with frame rate smoothing, since it ran pretty good in his test, and he's kind of worried about this because he wants to sort the issues. You know, he's reaching out to us before they push it to Steam. Now, awesome sauce. I didn't have an issue. Yet again, I have a 770 Turbo Stompotron 6000.
Turbo Talk Smasher 9000.
Blurp. All right, smooth those frames.
Yeah, I know, on NVIDIA card, or not on NVIDIA cards.
Right.
NVIDIA system. On AMD cards, rather, frame rate smoothing causes it to be stupid fucking choppy. Just include a little option there to flick that off, and you should be good. I mean, really, that's all
that
it
was
is.
basically it. And if, you're also catering to people with high DPI gerbils, you need to also put in a slider or a true or false thing that allows people to disable mouse smoothing, because that shit doesn't work either. I'm sorry, it doesn't.
But you know what? Good on you for actually getting some feedback. I mean, Papa and Yo, you deserved your 3 chairs, and I kind of want to give you a 4th chair just for being a responsible dev.
Yeah, that's brilliant on that.
Retroactive 4th chair. Go.
Finished the game today, and yeah, good game. All in all, it was a bit short. I was expecting a bit more gameplay than that, but then you can play it again, though, and collect hats, so it turns into Team Fortress 2 simulator.
Yeah. So speaking of sending us Linux demos, these guys had a bit of an issue doing that, didn't they?
But they did it right.
Just a teeny
They
bit.
did it right up until a point.
They just fucked up the end game.
Yeah, Jacob sends the Mims. I'm Jacob from a 3-person team called Squatting Penguins. We've been working on a mythical and funny light strategy game for about 18 months now, and we got the first beta version of our game for you. In our game, you play as a godlike caretaker of a colony of creatures called Mims, who are space travelers stranded in a strange place where their ship was hit by a meteor. With the use of your godlike psi powers, you can influence living things in your power and strengthen your colony. Thus, this feature is quite similar to the Populous The Beginning game. We are collecting funds to finish our game on Indiegogo.com. So, they did, in fact, send us a Linux demo. However, they seem to have a bit of an issue archiving their Linux demo.
Yo, dog, I heard you like TAWS in your TAWS, so you can TAWS while you gzip.
Yeah, Pedro, why don't you explain that a bit?
Pretty much. So, it was Thursday or Wednesday night, and I get an email from Ven. Can you uncompress this? And I click the link, I fill out the press form, and I download it. First thing I get, I open the tar.gz file. It's like 190 megs. I open it. Oh, there's a tar file in there. I extract that tar file. I open it again. Oh, there's another tar file in that tar file. Okay. So I extract that, and lo and behold, there's the game. And it works. I'll give him that. The beta actually works. It is
beta.
It is beta, yeah, but it it's a very, like they said, it's a very light strategy type thing, and I kind of like it.
I mean, it looks good for what it is, and the reason we're screaming about this, but I want to say my case, nope, on that even today, I tried it again. J-Man, nope sauce over there.
Yeah, no, I just keep getting invalid tar headers.
So, I mean, that's one cause of worry, because I know Buddy tried to decompress this on the team on a Linux box. But it looks all right, and they did it the right way. They sent us a demo. We know it runs under Linux.
They're not asking for a huge amount of money either.
No, they want 5,500
really
wet stinky caches. They already got 5.179 wet stinkies.
With about a month left. So.
Yeah. So I wish
And
these
you
guys
can get a key for the game if you subscribe to the $9 tier. If I'm not mistaken.
Let's
So
see
it's
what
pretty
the
cheap.
we get to fuck their sister price is. 1,500 gods of men. A floating island with quests created by you. Your name in the credits. No, nothing about
you
sisters.
get hunted by the predator.
Apparently.
Can I get a Liberace skin? I want a Liberace skin. Or can I be a mongoose?
Space
dog?
Liberace.
So yeah, for once we're actually going to say, go to Indiegogo, look for the memes, and kick these guys a few shekels if you like the game, because they did it right. Even with
Yep.
that slight hiccup, they did it right.
So from the memes to the Sims.
The
Jonathan.
Sims.
Jonathan.
Yeah.
Well, that-
Saying
Okay.
Cities in Motion is not SimCity, it's Open TTD, but in 3D. Would recommend it if you enjoy that game. P.S. Do you have a new title text, or is it just me, kitty face heart?
I believe all of that was aimed at you.
Well, good for you for. I don't know. I didn't check out Cities in Motion. It doesn't really look like my kind of game.
It's
I don't know.
what he's mentioning is the open source implementation of Transport Tycoon from the 90s. And yeah,
Ah.
it's kind of that, only a bit more complex. So yeah, we're treading on SimCity territory here. So it fits. What we said, it fits. Shut up.
I like to pretend that the less than 3 thing is just a butt with a hat on it. That's all I have to say about it.
That's brilliant, man. But thanks for screaming back at that business. Yeah, not really my dice. Neither was Cities in Motion. I mean, I logged a good 3 minutes in that tutorial, and I was like, no.
No,
9.
9. But since we're going to be nining out,
Over 9,000.
Soda
I'm
Flows.
thousand.
Cue that music, because at the end of the day, I am Vin Stone, cleverly disguised on the Twitter nets at Vin Stone, plus Vin Stone on the G pluses, and my heterosexual life partners shall tell you where they are located.
Oh, I'm sorry. You can find me at The Burning Fool on Twitter, plus Jordan Spun on the Google Plus. And
Well, I
finally,
have a
our
boner
slave
already.
labor.
Yes, I am Pedro Mateus, and you can find me at Unaccounted For on Twitter or plus Pedro Mateus on Google Plus. And I think that about wraps us up.
Yeah. I think there's one thing left to do.
What's up? What's
Just that?
Moon everyone.
Oh, God, no.
Oh God, yes!
So we're just pretending that didn't happen for your audio
Yeah,
listeners.
Pretty much.
But we're still going to wave at the lovely people. I'm Dynafire. See you next week.
Bye.